I hate my hair so much. We're just gonna have to get over it and we're just gonna have to film. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lauren if you're new here, and I have another book video for you today. I got this sent to me on my Instagram. If you don't already follow me, it's at Lauren's Reading Corner. And I saw Steph did a book recommendations tag and I absolutely loved it. And you guys sent this to me on Instagram and said, I really want you to do this, so that's what I'm doing. I am going to be doing a book recommendation tag, and basically there's just a list of questions and I'm going to answer them with a book recommendation. This is really fun and like a quick little, you know, recommendation video. Like I feel like you'll get like a bunch of genres at once, so I think that this is really good to do. So yeah, if you're interested, keep watching and let's get started. I absolutely hate my hair today, so we're just gonna have to bear with it. Yeah, so let's get cozy. So the first question is a book that you tell people is your favorite. So it's kind of like if you're meeting someone on the street and they ask you what your favorite book is, like what is the book you're gonna tell them? And mine will have to be Darling Venom. I will ride for this book till the end of the earth. You know how I feel about this book. Honestly, if I could, I would literally give this book for every single one of these questions, but I can't do that. Just that's how much I love it. It is a kind of brother's best friend. No, not brother's best friend, sorry. Best friend's brother a little. It's an age gap. It's super heartbreaking, just know going in that. It literally says, my first love ended in tragedy, my second began with his brother. Check triggers before reading, definitely 100%. And yes, this is one of my perfect romance books. I love it so much. I've been searching for a book that will make me feel the way this book made me feel. If you hated it, don't tell me because I'll be heartbroken, but yes. Next question, a book that is your guilty pleasure. This big chunk of book right here, A Court of Mist and Fury. This is my favorite fantasy book I think ever. I feel like after I read this book I just went into such a slump because I didn't think that I would find another book that made me feel the way this one did. I know I said that with Darling Venom, but I swear I was a little discouraged by the first ACOTAR, and then once I hit this I fell in love. I tried to read the third one and it wasn't my fave, but this is definitely my guilty pleasure. There's a ton of spice and I feel like I really just think that the spice was done right. Yeah, the writing is phenomenal. It's super long, but I swear it took me so quick to get through because there's like a lot more romance in this one and a lot less war, I feel like. I don't know, it's been a while since I read it, but yeah, I'm in love with it. It's so good. Oh, I wish I could read it again. Next, a book that everyone loved but you didn't. I know I'm gonna hurt a lot of people's feelings with this, but Magnolia Parks. It's just not for me. Like everyone, you know, will ride to the end of earth for it, but I just really felt like it was a struggle to get through. I absolutely despise sort of reading books where there are multiple problems and none of them get resolved. It was really difficult for me to continue reading this when there was just so much toxicness and absolutely zero character development. And yeah, again, I don't want to hurt people's feelings, but I don't know, I just found this so intolerable to get through because of how toxic it was. And yeah, so just know that while you're reading this, nothing really gets resolved. It almost gets worse as it goes on, and I could not sit there and read it. It was so frustrating for me. I understand so many people love it. I just don't really stand for it. I couldn't get behind it. Next book, a book you read the fastest. Love in Other Words. This is when I tabbed books. Oh my god, I ripped this apart. I loved it so much. I read this last year when I was flying to Florida, and I read it the entire I read it the entire plane ride and did not put it down, and I finished it in about 2.5 hours, how long it takes me to get to Florida, and completely love it. It is an addicting read. I don't know, when I read it, I never really read anything like it. I feel like now it's become like a little mainstream, but yeah, I read this so fast because I could not put it down. Okay, a book that I think deserves more hype, definitely Mary Jane. This is about a young girl in the 70s, comes from a really controversial like stick in their ass family, and she babysits for like a really free-spirited family, and I absolutely adore this. The character development is chef's kiss, and If you know me, I am so big on character development. I will love a book if the main character just changes for the better, and that's how this book made me feel. Oh my god, I fell in love with the characters. I think of them literally till this day. I just love the setting. It takes place in Baltimore in the 70s, and it's just perfect. Everything about it is perfect. Just know that it's a really quick, and the character development is what sold me. I think that everyone should read this because I feel like it affects you for the better and makes you a better person. But yeah, definitely pick this one up and read it because I think that more people need to talk about it. Okay. A book that is becoming a movie slash TV show, One True Loves by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I read this 2 summers ago and absolutely fell in love with it. Oh my god, I devoured it. It's basically about this woman who is led to believe that her husband is dead, lost at sea, and she obviously moves on with her life and meets this other man and falls in love with him. But while she's falling in love with him, she gets a call that her husband, previous husband, is actually alive. So he comes home and she's kind of faced with the issue of choosing her high school sweetheart, the man she was in love with, to now this new man that she fell in love with. And I'm super duper excited for it to be on film, but I'm kind of nervous for it because the trailer, I don't know, did not do it for me. Maybe that's just me, but it didn't really do it for me. So I'm kind of nervous to see if they can really just adapt this book and make me feel the way I did when I read it. Okay. Next one is a book you have reread the most. I had to say none for this because I don't reread books. I just can't because I hate knowing what's gonna happen. Maybe I'll get over that as I get older, but I just cannot reread a book. Let me know if you're like me because I feel like if I already know the ending, it's pointless for me, but that's just my outlook. A book from a genre you don't typically read. I feel like I read like a ton of genres. I don't know. I don't really like pick up any book that, I don't know. I feel like a genre I don't typically read would be like historical fiction, and I just don't read that. But I don't know where I was getting with that, but I guess I said Eleanor Oliphant is completely fine. I absolutely hated this book in the beginning. I maybe hated it until like the 200 mark. So just know that if you're reading this and you're finding yourself discouraged, it absolutely picks up and turns around and you're gonna be like, thank God I continued reading this book. Again, I sound like a broken record, but character development is so much to me, and this book is like the definition of character development. She is a really great character. In the beginning, she struggles with such social skills and she has a ton of issues, and she meets this like kind of like messy IT guy, but he's not necessarily messy. He just is like lives life like how he wants to, and he teaches Eleanor so much, and I just feel like it's so great to read because you see, I saw just kind of like a perspective that I never really saw before, and it took a lot in me to not judge the main character, and I swear once you finish it, you're just like, you're in love with all of the characters involved. A book that deserves all the hype it gets. Good Girl's Guide to Murder. I did not think that I would like this book as much as I did. It's a YA book, murder mystery, and she kind of just goes in to solve like a unresolved murder case in her town. I normally see the end of all the thrillers that I read, but this one had me stumped the whole time. I just really understand like why everyone hypes it up and why they gas it up. It is so good, so fast-paced. Definitely, it just like, I don't know, I just feel like I understand why everyone loves it. I haven't read the second book or the third. I think there's 3 in the trilogy, but I'm definitely going to. I can definitely see why everyone hypes this book up because it deserves it. A book you usually recommend when asked to give a recommendation. I know people are going to come for me for the way I say asked, but I am from Jersey, so sorry. I said 2 books, so I'll either recommend Birthday Girl for a girl that I know or someone who loves spice. So I'll always recommend that book because it is spicy and she dates her ex-boyfriend's dad. Phenomenal, absolutely loved it. But the other book I said is My Year of Rest and Relaxation. I love, love, love this book, and I think that I recommend it to people because I want them to kind of branch out and read something that's not normally for them. I will always say this book because it is a plotless book, and it basically just like shows the journey of a woman who's just trying to sleep for like 6 months, and she's obviously mentally ill, but she wants to just avoid the problems of the world and just sleep her life away. And I was so addicted to this. There are no chapters, and you don't know the main character's name, the narrator. It opened my eyes to so many other literary fiction books, and I feel like this got me into reading genres that aren't necessarily romance or thriller. So yeah, I'll definitely always recommend this book to someone who's kind of, I don't know, tunnel visioned on a romance books. Definitely read this. Just remember going into it, it is different than what you read, and I feel like you have to understand the main character before you necessarily judge her. A book that has your favorite characters in it. I picked up Cleopatra and Frankenstein because, again, oh my goodness, can I say it one more time? Character development in this book is everything to me. It just follows a toxic age-gapped couple through New York City and their relationship and the struggles that they go through. Now, I don't want to hear it that you're gonna say that I hate toxic couples, because this book changed it. Like, I enjoyed this book so much because it was not like Magnolia Parks at all. It's kind of like an adult version. Understand the problems and the hardship that the characters go through. Yeah, it's perfect. I don't know, there's so much wisdom, and it's witty, and there's banter. There's banter in it, and I think that you should definitely read this. And I don't want people to get discouraged because of the toxicity. I don't know how to say that word, but it is really, really good. It's strong. It's just a really great literary fiction novel. Novel? I don't know. A book you wish you could live in. Definitely Powerless by Elsie Silver. I just read that book recently, and I don't know, I'm like in my small town romance era, and I want to live on a ranch right now. I don't know why, but I absolutely loved the setting of that book. And yeah, it was okay. It was good, but I just really think what sold me was the setting, and I want to live on a ranch, but like a nice ranch, like a wealthy ranch. I'm like so out of touch. I want to live like with horses and farms, and I want to like wear a cowboy hat every day of my life and cowgirl boots. Book you thought you would hate but ended up loving. I said All the Little Things by Rachel Lee. That book really had me just engaged. I ate that book up. It is a brother's best friend romance. What was the question? Yeah, I thought I would hate it because, not me forgetting the question, I thought I would hate it because it was so overly hyped on Instagram, I think, and the cover threw me off. I like don't really like the cover, and like I am judgmental, so I'll judge a book by its cover. Completely ended up loving it. I thought that in the beginning the characters were kind of a little fictional and like obviously, but like really like immature, and quickly turned my point of view around, and I really, really loved it. A book that made you cry. Definitely If You Had Been With Me. It was a roller coaster of emotions. I know some people don't understand why it's hyped up, but I don't know, I was hyperventilating crying at the end. It's basically just like about they were best friends when they were younger, and then they kind of split up all through high school, and then immediately when they're reconnected, just like things happen, and she's kind of scared she's not going to get a second chance with him. You need to read this book. A book you wish you could read for the first time. My Good and Faithful, A Million Kisses in Your Lifetime. You know I love Crew to the end of the world. Like, he is perfect. It's about like a little innocent girl and a bad boy, which again is like the best trope in the world. And he keeps pursuing her. Like, I know people will always say like, ew, he's like creepy and predatory. It's fiction. I loved it. I thought it was so good. Just try not to forget that it's fake. Like, there are questionable things, but there's also questionable things in every other book. Let's not forget that it's a book, but the things he does for her is unlike anything, and I want him to be my boyfriend. Sorry, Payne, if you're watching this. I'm in love with them. I wish I could read it for the first time again because I felt so many emotions. So yeah. Okay guys, so that is my little book recommendation tag. Let me know if you check any of these books out. I'll be so happy to talk about them with you. Once again, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. See you in my next. Love you, bye.